I can't wait for Far Cry 6 and was already lucky enough to play the game before release, and after that interview Ben Hall, the world director, about the new things I discovered. So in this video I want to share 5 important things that I learned about the game that will be very handy for you to know as well before or during your journey through Yara. Including how the loot and leveling system works, how you can replay outposts, and way more. So if you enjoy the Far Cry content here on the channel, then don't leave a like on the video, would really help me out. And let's go. There's still a bit of time to enter my Far Cry 6 Ultimate Edition giveaway. I will be reaching out to the winner just before launch, so enter via the link in the pinned comment. And be sure you are a subscriber of the channel if you want to participate. Good luck. And also in the pinned comment you find a link to my second YouTube channel, Raptor World Gameplay, where I post the daily Far Cry 6 gameplay, so totally check it out as well. As you might know, Far Cry 6 has a character level system, so instead of working towards progress in a region like we saw in Far Cry 5, you now, by doing missions and clearing restricted areas like outposts or grabbing a supply drop for example, you get points towards your character's reputation. And there's more going on with this system than you might think at first. As we showed in our full map video, you will see ranks for each region when you zoom in and take a look at the different areas. And this doesn't mean that you get one shot if you go to the city, for example, which has a skull next to it. No, instead it means that there are more and higher rank enemies, more tanks. So just that the city will make your life way harder. It's more like a warning, because you can go there immediately after leaving the tutorial island if you want. You likely won't survive for long though. Now it's smarter to rank up first, and increasing your level is not really about improving your stats. Now instead, when you level up, you will see a notification saying that new weapons and gear is available at Once Arms dealers. So when you then go to these vendors after clearing an F&D base, because that is when the shopkeepers appear, you will find better resolver weapons, regular weapons, and gear to buy with the currency you've earned. So the higher your level, the better the weapons you have access to, especially the resolver weapons like the Zozito will be amazing to unlock to take out the many helicopters that will be hunting you once the alarms go off in a large F&D base. But what is also interesting is that the world will react to you as you level up, and this from my interview with Ben, where he explains what leveling up in Far Cry 6 means. So it's more that when you level up, the regions will get better defense as well, because
it's not as black and white as that.
Okay.
There's more subtlety and nuance to it than that, but essentially that is in essence what happens as you play through. The country gets reinforced, and that's going to make the challenges more difficult and make you need to think about how you
so when you go back to an earlier area, it will be a little harder than when it was when you went there for the first time.
Yep.
Okay. So it can totally be that while the city Esperanza is rank 7, when you are rank 3, like the map footage was recorded on a level 3 character, that when you rank up, it suddenly goes up too. I totally think you can catch up and get on the same rank as the city at some point, just my speculation, but it's still an interesting mechanic, right? Also meaning that there should still be a challenge in earlier regions as they get better defenses when you rank up too. But again, you can go anywhere you want once you get off Tutorial Island, and this is important thing to know, number 2, and this was also thanks to Ben Hall. You can namely immediately go and get the different amigos as well if you want. You start the game with Guapo, the crocodile. It's like 30 minutes in, and from that moment you can immediately see the other amigos that are available in the game as well in the menu. We of course all know Chorizo and Chicharron, which has been featured a lot in trailers, but we have no gameplay of Boom Boom, although he might be comparable to Boomer from Far Cry 5. It's a stealth amigo, by the way, and we also got Oluso. And in the menu, you also see which Yaran story, so side mission, you have to do to unlock the amigo. And worth noting is that the big cat we see in the Vice pack that you get from the Ultimate Edition of the game, and also the K9000 that we see in the Blood Dragon pack you get if you buy the Season Pass, are not in the amigo menu yet, so I'm curious when you unlock those. Number 3 is about loot, because it works different this time around. You can namely buy weapons at vendors, as we saw in the previous games, but you can also find them in the world, and then you also unlock them So it's kinda handy to know how the system works for when you are exploring Yara yourself. Unique weapons with their special skin and modifications you cannot customize have a dedicated location in the world where you can find them. You see a hint when you hover over them in the weapons menu, and once you are in the area, you can very easily recognize these special chests thanks to the crocodile you see on them. So open these chests and bam, you get the unique gun you're looking for. While regular weapons that can be customized at the workbench, so you can put your own scope on them or select a skin for example, they can, next to being bought, also be found in regular caches that look like this. But the weapon you get from these chests is random. So I found this shotgun here, but high chance that when you loot this chest, you get a different gun in this location. And I would imagine that the higher the rank of the region, the more powerful the gun is that you find in that region. So you can totally go out and buy the weapon that you want, but you can also save the money and just like do a lot of checkpoints and bases, and high chance that you might come across it when you loot different chests. And speaking of outposts and bases, a common question I get is, will we be able to replay these locations after we cleared them once? And well, the answer is yes, but it works different compared to Far Cry New Dawn, where you could of course immediately repopulate a camp with enemies. No, instead, after completing the main story of Far Cry 6, special insurgencies will start, and you will get notifications that outposts you've taken over are now in the hands of the military again, so they can try and take them back. So this likely also has to do with the weekly insurgencies that we saw in the post-launch trailer, and that also open up after having finished the main story. So that is likely just one specific target that we all have. And then next to that, every player has their own like map with military fighting back. I know it's still a bit fake, but Ben did not want to talk about it a lot. It's at least good to know that bases will be recaptured by the enemies after finishing the main story. So it seems like there's always something to fight against in the world during the end game. We also got the notoriety system, which I only triggered once during my play session, and this happens when you blow up a ton of stuff in the world. Then Anton will send special enemies to hunt you down. So it's really like a wanted system we see in other games, which should also make sure that there are always enemies to kill in Far Cry 6. And next to that, we have those repeatable special operations, where we of course travel to a unique location in the world. And I talked way more about that system and a special vendor we can find in the game in my previous video, which you can watch by clicking on the screen. Of course, subscribe for everything Far Cry 6. We'll have a ton of spoiler-free guides up. I will also keep you up to date on the post-launch content here and way more. A like on the video would of course really help me out, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.